Hi, I'm Roy, channel's called Yard of Random Books, and I'm finally doing the Booktube Newbie Tag. And I honestly don't know who originated the tag. I was particularly pointed towards it by Kelly from Books I'm Not Reading, a brilliant post she did about advice for newbies to Booktube, which I'll link to in the description. So, why did you start this channel is the first question. And it was really a specific project I had in mind, which was to do with old books that are sold by length or weight or whatever. They're just a job lot of old hardbacks that you can have just to make your shelves look nice, which seems so bizarre to people who read a lot and have already got lots of books. But it is a thing, buying old books for decoration. So I thought, well, these books are sort of dismissed as being for reading. Let's get some and let's see what happens if you actually read them. And that's what I wanted to do. And I was sort of thinking, well, how do I share that? Because do I do Facebook posts? Well, only my friends will see that. Could write a blog, but that feels a bit old hat. Stuff like podcasts and videos I just didn't know how to do. So because of that, I thought, well, at least let's try video, because then I'll learn something. I'll learn how to make videos. And found out that Booktube was a thing, and the way channels work, and fell into doing it that way. So a particular project about reading unwanted old books, which kind of makes it a different kind of channel from, say, looking at stuff that people are into, because it's almost by definition looking at stuff that people aren't into. But I do other stuff as well, so I'm not just doing that. But that's why I started the channel. Number two, what are some fun and unique things you can bring to YouTube? Well, I'm super old, and that means I've read lots of things, and sometimes I know a little bit about the history of some things, but I don't want to be that guy. I don't want to be the sort of Booktube equivalent of the guy who points at your band t-shirt and says, I saw them live in 1979 for 50p, even though I did. At the same time, I don't want to, if I think I've got something interesting to say based on my aged memory, then I'll probably want to weave it in. But yeah, so I am like everybody. I'm me. That's my stage of life, and hopefully I can make some productive use out of that. Also, I think my approach is to treat serious things in a whimsical way, and to treat whimsical things with deadly seriousness. That's all I'll say about that. What are you most excited for about this new channel? It's really about meeting people and talking to people and having conversations. It's sort of, to me, having the channel and the videos are kind of like a calling card that has to be there for me to be able to comment on other people's stuff, so that there's some kind of hinterland they can explore if they want to when I'm looking at their stuff. I think my impression of Booktube is it's a bit like going to a fancy dress party where you've got to have a costume. Even if you don't know anybody, you can't just appear, in jeans. So you got to have a costume, and you can't just hang around in the doorway. So having a channel is the way I'm able to kind of mix it in with everybody else. And the friendship and the community already, that's the thing that makes me keep coming back to it. Number four, why do you love reading? Well, reading. It's an altered state, but a positive altered state with no hangover. So you can be totally absorbed, you can be transported, you can be taken away. Your brain's doing something else than what it normally does. And I love the books as well. I like books in other ways than the reading part of it. I love books physically, vintage paperbacks in particular. and the process. 3 hours later, I'll stop answering this one question. Yeah, I also like finding books, tracking things down, going to bookshops, and the smell of the paper. So yeah, 1,000 reasons to love reading. Number 5, what book or series got you into reading? That would be Enid Blyton with her Secret 7 child detective stories. So they're probably a little bit Hardy Boys, Nancy Drew kind of thing. Um, Despised by many now as being sort of children's trash literature. But I can remember reading 3 one after the other and it being so like almost collapsing at the end of it with the scenes running around in my head, you know. So it's like um, the first time I got drunk on books was Enid Blyton. And strangely, I only ever liked The Secret Seven. She has a more popular child detective series about called The Famous Five. And I was like, oh, I'm Secret Seven. Never read A Famous Five to this day. So, yeah, Enid Blyton. What questions would you ask your favourite booktubers? Is question number 6. Where do you find the time? Not just the time to physically make the videos, but to go down the rabbit holes, to explore and research things, to do the reading. It seems to me you need at least an extra 2 hours per day, if not an extra day per week, to do it justice. So that's what I would ask, and I know there's no real answer to that. What challenges do you think starting a booktube channel will be hardest to overcome? Is question 7. Well, apart from the time thing, I think it's focus. Part of me thinks I should have just made it about the shelf of old books so that people would always know that's the brand. If they come here, that's what I'm talking about. But part of me is like, yeah, I'll do that, but I also want to do reviews and I want to get involved in these events and all the rest of it. So it's finding that balance, I think, will be difficult for me because I'm naturally flighty. And also staying on task so that I do read all of these books, even the really boring ones, and find something interesting to say about them. This is my burden. Where are we? Number 8. When did you start reading? I kind of answered that already. I suppose, well, I guess I can actually remember being at school and the thing, oh, so the marks, they're like words. Now I get it. So I can remember sort of reading starting, despite the then fashionable phonetic spelling thing. We had this awful storybook at home that was written in some kind of non-English um, sound way. And I don't think it's like phonics as they have it now. It was some predecessor to that. So despite the best efforts of the education of the time, I got into reading at school and never looked back. Number 9, where do you read is kind of where I am, especially at the moment when I've got lots of reading I want to do, because I like to read Kindle books on my phone. I've had Kindles and I've got a pad, but for some reason I just like the phone, so I've always got that with me, except when it's in front of me being a camera. And I do quite a lot of reading at night as well. Got into a weird sleep cycle of staying up quite late and also waking up in the middle of the night. So there's like almost like an extra secret day that's just about reading, hidden away in sort of non-existent hours of the morning. Number 10, last question. What kind of books do you like to read? Well, super eclectic. Recently really enjoyed Garb August, which was about reading trash novels, but also highbrow, middlebrow, lowbrow. All the brows are in my reading world. Super eclectic, but particularly I do like pulp. I do like detective fiction. Um, there's lots of classics I like as well, and but also like the gothic. Very interested in occult detectives at the moment. Sort of supernatural detectives. that kind of thing. But it's a vast range which has become dramatically broader since I started doing Booktube, which is great. So yes, this is the t-shirt I made as a result of the Garb August month and some of the discussions about the different sort of types of reading. So I thought, yeah, well, I will wear my statement about all of that. Okay, so that's my Booktube newbie things I'm saying to you, and thank you for listening. Goodbye.